with all the resources that is available online right now, you know, anyone can pretty much be a writer. You can research the topic, and as long as you're committed to sit down and put words on paper, anybody can be a writer.
Hello, hello, all my beautiful leading ladies. I'm Antoinette Westcott here with my co-host, Renee Paige.
Hello, 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 leading ladies. Let's see how Karen is going to lead us today. Karen Thomas.
Karen Thomas is a licensed massage therapist, business owner, and romance novelist, and has combined all of them into one. Karen is originally from the Caribbean islands of Trinidad and Tobago and came to the U.S. in 1997. With her Caribbean influence, she pursued her career as a masseuse and opened her own company, her private practice masseuse called Spalypso, a combination of spa and calypso. And with that, she found that she was a writer and loved writing books and novels. And she has her trilogy novel coming out, The Billionaire Siren. It'll be available later this year. So welcome to the show, being our leading lady this week, Karen.
Hi, Karen.
Hi, thank you. It's such an honor to be here. I'm so excited.
Actually, Karen is my beautiful grandson's grandmother. So I forgot to mention that.
What?
I am sitting here looking at her and I'm like, that's Jacob. And I always take credit like, oh, Jacob looks like me. But I'm sitting here looking at Karen. I'm like, no, Jacob looks like Karen.
Well, he looks a little like both of us because we're grand sisters, I guess. I don't know. Does that make us grand sisters?
Yes, we're grand sisters.
Okay. Oh my goodness. So Kenson's your son.
That's right. Yeah.
Yes.
I've talked to Kenson a few times.
He's such a great kid. Yes, he's such a great kid.
Yeah. He's a good boy.
Yes, he is.
Well, I've got a million questions for you.
So do I.
Like, do I even do the rapid fire? Do we just like dive right in? But we'll do a couple.
Yes.
Okay. What's your favorite book?
My favorite book, I'll tell you, it's an old classic by Virginia Woolf called Mrs. Dalloway. It's a little bit of a tough read, to tell you the truth. Not many people like that book, but for me, I just think that it's such a deep dive into the human psyche. And that book has always inspired me. I can't tell you how many times I've read that book or turned to that book if I've had some writer's block going on or something like that. That book always just spurs me right back on track.
Well, since you already have so much self-care in your repertoire, your masseuse, you read, and what would be something that you do that you could give us a piece of your self-care routine?
Yes.
Self-care. I drink a lot of water. It's very important. Just like the first thing I do in the morning when I wake up. Yeah, there you go. I got my water. Before I put anything in my body, I drink water, and I drink a lot of water throughout the day. But I think for self-care, I would say to take time for yourself, which is kind of what I do when I go and park my car at the water and have my little sandwich and I listen to my books. That's my time. I listen to the books, yes, while I'm doing housework and while I'm driving to go different places and stuff like that. But their part, just looking at the water, sometimes we see manatee come right up to the wall or dolphins come right up to the wall. So taking time for yourself, doing that thing that you love.
If you could have coffee with one person, who would it be?
A guy by the name of Gary V. Vaynerchuk is his last name, but he goes by Gary V.
Okay.
And he talks with a lot of F-bombs. He drops a lot of F-bombs.
Okay.
Because his audience is a younger audience, and he speaks to the future, And that's kind of along the wavelength of how I think, the things that he puts out there is very synergistic with the way I feel about the world and how people should be treated, and where the world is going, where the economy is going. And so I watch him, I follow him, I watch a lot of his YouTube videos, I follow some of his advice, and I'm like, yeah, this is a person that speaks to me. He kind of advises younger folks on what they should be doing for business, and he has a very unique take on things.
Does he have a book?
Oh, he has several books. One of his books, one of his most popular books is Crush It. Or Crushing It.
I've heard of it. Crushing It. I've heard of it.
Yeah, I've listened to it. And his message is along the lines of personalities like Grant Cardone. I don't know if you know about him.
I love Grant Cardone.
Yes, Grant Cardone. And, very modern day, how to take marketing for, much more on a modern way to do marketing, because I agree with him that things are changing, and what worked for our parents and people 10 years ago, it's not working anymore.
Well, I thought I was going to trick you with that first rapid fire question. What's your favorite book? Because being a novelist, you probably have millions to pick from.
Yes.
Oh gosh, yes. I have my favorite fantasy book, which is, magic and all of that kind of stuff. From one particular author, and I have another, which was the first time I read a fantasy genre book, which I love fantasy genre. I also have a favorite book by another author because it's also a fantasy genre book, but I love it because he uses so much comedy in his writing. So I have several favorite books.
Do you find reading therapeutic and you can just escape and just whatever is going on in the world, you get a novel, a hot cup of tea or a glass of wine, and you just sit and read and you can just escape? Is that what it is for you?
Yeah, it's definitely an escape. But here's the thing. I don't sit and read because I listen to Audible books.
Okay.
Oh, do you like that better?
Oh, yes, 100 times better because, you don't have to find time because, we're just always so busy now in this world that we live in. And so with Audible books, you can continue to read whilst you're doing everything else. Mm-hmm. So, you're doing housework, you're doing laundry, you're driving to work. Mm-hmm. My favorite thing in the world, my favorite reading situation is I'm in my car. And I'm parked at the North Bridge in Sarasota, looking out at the water. There's a bridge to go over to Sarasota, Siesta Key, which, number one beach in the U.S. and all of that stuff. But there's a little spot.
Okay, you might get some competition on that. I don't know if you're going to get away with that one.
I know. California and Hawaii. I know. It's always...
Well, I'm from Florida, so I've been to a lot of beaches.
Oh, are you? Oh, wonderful. Yeah. So you must have heard of Siesta Key Beach.
Yes, I have not been there.
Okay. So it doesn't always win number one, but several times.
Okay. Well, next time in Florida and I'm visiting my friend Jen over in the Tampa area, I'll just drive down and we'll go with you to Siesta Key because I haven't been. So
we'll go get a massage. Make an appointment for a massage.
There you go.
Oh, that too. As long as you're getting one too. I'm not going to make you not get some relaxation time as well.
So, but yeah, no, that's my favorite way to read is through Audible. I go and I park and I look out at the water and listen to my book. And I have a vegetarian burrito always. That's my very favorite thing.
Oh my goodness. She's vegan. Antoinette is vegan.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I turned vegan last June. Yeah.
Oh.
I got a little bit of a health scare. I started doing some research and it led me to try veganism. And everything's fine. Everything worked out perfectly fine.
Okay.
But, I found that I really loved the way my body felt with veganism. I meant to only try it, but I just loved it and I stuck to it.
What was the biggest impact that you found from starting to eat vegan?
So, well, no more belly problems. I feel more lighter in my body. I've lost the 10 pounds that, I was trying to get rid of for the longest time.
Just like that, right?
Just like
it just
that.
like went like that.
Just like that. But I have to say, the biggest thing is that, you have people, we all have family hereditary conditions, and one of the conditions in my family line is cholesterol problems. And I started taking cholesterol, and I had been on cholesterol meds for about 3 years. That's gone. The doctor took me off it. Once I started the vegan diet, the cholesterol just balanced itself back off.
Wow.
So that was the most major thing.
That's great.
Yeah.
Was it a quote? Because I know one time Antoinette made spaghetti and meatballs, and I was like, oh my goodness, it's really good. Was it an acquired taste for you, Karen, when you started?
Not really. Some of the things just were delicious, and I was fine. I tried a lot of different things. Some things I didn't like, and I just kind of went through the gamut of what was available. The things that I liked, I stuck with. The things I didn't like, I wouldn't buy again. But I eat a lot of salads and greens and vegetables anyway, and a lot of fruit and stuff like that anyway,
Now, do you write while you're at the beach, Karen?
No, I don't write at the beach. I wait till I get home, and I write at in my laptop, in my little home office here. So yeah, I do that. Sometimes I'd go to the library if I, need a little quiet. I'll go to the library, and they have these little study rooms that you can sign out. Or I've gone to Starbucks a couple of times. But I like quiet. Some people like that background noise to write, and it's okay every once in a while, but I prefer quiet.
What's your inspiration for writing and also romance?
I've heard this from other writers as well. People who work, a day job and then write in, other time off, whatever. And they say when they're at work, which is what happens to me when I'm work, the most wonderful ideas come to me. I think when you're in that zone where you're not thinking about the project, and your mind is kind of relaxed, because that's the environment I work in. I have, inspirational music going on. I'm trying to be present with my client, trying to feel, and so my mind is pretty much empty. And that's when the best idea will come, zoop. And I can't leave my client to go and take note of it, because sometimes you forget.
Yeah.
But I've heard a lot of other writers say that happens to them too. Or like 2:00 in the morning, they'll get the brightest idea, and they'll go back to sleep and say, okay, I'll remember in the morning. In the morning, it's gone. So that's kind of one of the downsides to when you have a day job and stuff like that. The ideas tend to come to you at a very inopportune time. But to answer your question, my inspiration for writing my romance novels, write my romance novels on board a cruise ship. That's where I invented a whole ship to itself and everything, because I used to work on board a cruise ship.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so it was a long time ago, but it's a very romantic setting, and I've come across one or two people that did stories on board cruise ships, but not romance, and I'm like, yeah, it's just the most romantic place. So I decided to write my books centered on board a cruise ship. So I'm a self-published author, so independent author. And so I've published the first book of the trilogy. That's this one here.
Wow.
That's it, The Billionaire Siren. Oh, they're all called The Billionaire Siren.
Well, this one is The Billionaire Siren. The second
I thought the third one
is The Billionaire's Phoenix. And the third one, I haven't settled on an answer, on a title just yet. The second book hasn't been published yet. It's at my editor's right now, so I'm holding my breath that I don't have too much work to do when it comes back, correcting things and fixing things and filling plot holes, that kind of stuff. But it's at the editors right now, and I hope to launch that one in May.
So what kind of advice, because I know I hear people, especially women, want to write a novel, write a book. And I know your probably first advice to a woman or to someone coming behind you is start writing. But what would you recommend far as the process of, you start writing and then you get it to the next stage? What is your advice for someone coming after you that want to get a book published, that need to know how to do it? What is your advice?
So the first thing is to decide whether they want to publish as an independent author, self-published,
Okay.
or if they want to seek a publishing house to get traditionally published.
Okay.
So that route is pretty hectic, to find somebody that will take your work.
There's a lot of competition.
There's a lot of competition. There's a lot of querying. It's best if you have an agent that will accept you, first of all, and then the agent will shop these other places and do, you have to have a lot of ducks in row when it comes to that, because there's query letters, there's, all of that kind of stuff. So that's the first thing to decide. And there's no way I can explain that process here, not to mention the fact that I haven't gone that route myself. And I knew I did not want to try for the traditionally published.
Okay.
There's a certain amount of prestige that comes with being traditionally published. But, I'm like, I am too much in my own way to try to do that. I just want to do my own thing. So I was like, you know what? I'm not even going to try. So I knew I wanted to go the self-published way. The thing about being self-published is that you're responsible for everything. You're the writer. You have to make sure that your work is polished before you even send it off to an editor. You go through several drafts, and you write, you rewrite, and rewrite some more. Then you send it to the editor, and now you're paying for this yourself. The editor sends it back to you. You make corrections. You decide whether you want to take that correction or not. Then you have to go through the process again. Then it has to be proofread. And then, the process of uploading it to Amazon, you have to get your book cover designed. You have to get your book formatted. Whether you want to do ebook, you want to do paperback book, and all of that, those are all decisions you have to make.
That's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
It sounds like
and
it.
you can do all of that, and still the marketing is probably one of the most important thing that most authors don't know how to do.
The marketing?
Myself included. Yeah, the marketing of your book, or else your book will be, invisible on a shelf in Amazon somewhere.
Do you go and tour and do book signings and things like that?
I never have before. I kind of really wanted to have my second book out. Of course, I didn't write for a great long time during COVID. COVID just threw a wrench into everything, everything went south during COVID. And so I haven't had the opportunity or the want to do something like that just yet. But as things are opening back out and, things are letting loose a little bit, I would be open to that in the future. Yeah.
That'd probably be a good way to market, especially when women have their retreats. And I mean, that probably would be a good marketing book signing at a retreat or something like that.
Yeah.
Because we always loved, as women, we always love to read romance novels,
Yep.
Oh yeah, my mom loves reading romance novels.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to get it for her.
Yeah,
Well, you're doing a great job, I think, of marketing on TikTok. I got lost on your TikTok page.
Oh, did you?
Yes.
I was just like laughing and enjoying, and I was like, oh wow. Oh,
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know you saw that. It was like, oh.
Yes.
No, it's so good. I don't even understand TikTok, and you do.
I'm learning.
I kind of like to jump into things. I just love learning new things. And I quickly learned that Facebook wasn't for me. Instagram wasn't for me. But when I found TikTok, I was like, oh, anything goes. Okay, I can do this. Well, in the beginning, it was just the younger kids,
Right.
but not anymore. I think TikTok has overtaken, and don't quote me on this, but I think they've overtaken all the other social media platforms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for every age. Oh, for sure.
And millionaires
So what's
have
your
been made.
secret?
You
What
know,
would you, like, how can I make mine better? What advice do you have?
God, I don't know. It's just, for me, I went on there to have fun. I never intended for TikTok to be anything in regards to marketing or anything like that. And I would just have do the fun videos. I started showing my face because I was very shy. I didn't want to show my face. I didn't want to say anything and have my voice go, heard, because I have a bit of an accent. But little by little, I started getting a little more brave, showing myself and speaking. But I think the key is to have fun because, for me, anything that starts to feel like a chore, I may not last too long. But I was just having fun, duetting a lot of funny videos. And, I came across a couple of videos that says, okay, I came across author talk. And, there was a couple of videos that says, show me a book and stuff like that. And I showed them my book. And then a funny thing happened. People started buying my book off of TikTok and, and talking about it and all of that kind of stuff. So it was a really happy accident. Yeah, for me. And the thing is, I can still have fun.
Yeah, it is fun.
Mm-hmm.
I have fun when I get on it too. So
The world is changed.
Oh, yeah.
especially after the COVID.
Well, this Bitcoin and NFTs and, it's
metaverse.
the metaverse, like my mind is like, oh my God, I got to start.
Yeah.
Now I got to like change gears and like start learning again and figure out like, well, what did I miss? Because I've been hearing about Bitcoin for about 10 years now. And I was, old school, oh geez, that's nothing,
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's kind of what was happening with TikTok also. That's for young people. Get off of TikTok. What you doing on TikTok? But
Exactly.
yeah, no more. It's not just for young people anymore.
No.
No.
That's the social media to be on. I think things are a lot more genuine on TikTok. I've made some really fantastic connections. And the funny thing is they feel like friends, you feel like you're seeing the real person. And that's kind of what I like about that social media, that platform. You feel like you're seeing the real person because people aren't afraid to show their real self without makeup, just get out of bed, say what's really on their minds, be controversial sometimes.
Yeah.
So that everything doesn't have to be perfect.
Yeah.
No, it's like you could find your people through the socials. So through TikTok, through what I'm imagining the metaverse is going to be with, living in a virtual world and, going to stores or going to places that you want to go to. And it's you meet, maybe people will find their true loves.
Yeah.
That's right.
that are across the world.
Yes.
My ex-husband, he and I went to a movie. Oh, I can't even remember how long ago this movie came out, but we went to the theater. He always took me to see these types of movies. It's the one called Ready Player One. It's
that's what it's the metaverse is.
Right, exactly. And when he took me to see that movie, I said to him that the first 10 minutes of that movie, I said to him, that's what the world is going to be in 50 years from now. But what I think happened is that COVID sped things up. And it'll be, and it'll be very much like that. And now you're hearing about the metaverse. You're hearing about these virtual worlds and all of these kind of things. So, and Gary Vee talks about that a lot.
Well, I like to have people suggest for them to watch Upload. It's on Amazon.
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen it?
I've seen quite a few episodes. It's good. I like it.
Right? Crazy. And then there's another show, Continuum. It's a Canadian show. I just
saw that one too.
No.
looking out for all the fantasy, sci-fi, that kind of stuff. I
Yes.
just love it.
Well, what other shows are you like these that you have watched that I maybe haven't?
Well, I love all the superhero movies.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
You know, the Marvel comics, you know, Iron
Oh,
Man, you know, Ragnarok, the Avengers, all of those, Wonder Woman, Batman, Superman. All of
Really?
those. So there's a series. It's got six episodes with Hawkeye. He kind of is mentoring, reluctantly mentoring this younger girl who's you know, got inspired by him, seeing him during the Avenger movie, and so I binge watched on that. It was good. Yeah, Hawkeye. I think it's
cool.
on Disney Plus.
Okay.
That one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to check it out.
Check
I
it
gotta
out.
ask, do you ever get back to Trinidad?
The last time I went was just before COVID.
Wow.
So
Okay.
since COVID, I hadn't gone back. You know, and the last time I went was actually for my dad's funeral. Yeah, so it was a couple of years ago. You know, I'm so glad that I was able to go for that. You know, it happened October, and then the next year in March is when COVID hit and they locked down everything.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know, I would have been devastated had I not been able to go for my dad's
Wow.
funeral. Yeah. And I was supposed to go again the following year, in a few months after that. And then COVID hit. So I haven't been back to the island since that. Yeah.
He was in his 90s, right? Wasn't he in his 90s?
Yeah, he was 94.
Wow, lived a long life.
Yeah. And he was pretty good. He was pretty active, getting up every day, going to the land. And he was a bushman, my dad, you know, planting trees and picking fruit for the kids and chopping coconuts and all of that kind of stuff. You know, he was my biggest inspiration to, you know, he let me know that it was okay to be my own kind of artist. And he celebrated me when I started drawing. Oh, Jacob is an excellent artist. Oh my God. Have you seen the pictures
drawing too?
Yes.
that baby does? Oh my gosh, he is so good. I mean, it's incredible.
He has an easel, and Brad said he will sit there 4-5 hours. And then guess what is so cute? He'll sit there. He doesn't like junk food, but as he's drawing, he eats, and you two will appreciate this. He sits there and eats a bag of lettuce like it's a bag of chips.
Oh.
Yes. You know how, you know,
Yeah.
bag of chips, Jacob will draw, and he has a bag of lettuce that he will sit there and eat like it's chips.
That's wonderful.
That's so cute.
Yeah. So I always try to, you know, encourage Jacob as well, you know, when he shows me his little drawings and stuff, but he is really good.
He is.
I'm not biased. I might be a little biased. But,
But I agree with you.
but you know, as a kid myself, discovering praise from my dad for my drawing, you know, was so important and so formative that, you know, even in my adult life, I've done some painting with acrylics and stuff like that, and have taken parts in art gallery shows and artist markets, adjudicated shows and things like that. So, you know, my art kind of just morphed and turned into this different things. Nothing really spurred me on so to want to pursue as much as the writing, though. So that's kind of where my art settled with writing.
Well, you have a podcast too.
Yes.
A fictional podcast that you write.
Yeah.
What is
How's
that
that?
about? I
So
haven't heard.
That I started, that went flat once COVID hit as well. You know,
What?
I was writing all these little fantasy stories, short stories, little bitty things. And, you know, I thought they were great stories. And so I wanted a way to share them with the world. And I decided, why not just have a podcast and read them out loud on the podcast, and other people can go on there and enjoy it. So these are my little fantasy stories. But once COVID hit, you know, I didn't have as much free time because, you know, the family unit kind of was on top of me the whole time.
Yeah.
And, you know, there was just this whole cloud of like, dreariness. And I didn't write that much. And the podcast just went, in the back on the back burner. I didn't do much else or with the podcast after that. But they're just terrific little fantasy stories, family friendly fantasy stories, mermaids and fairies and that kind of stuff. Yeah, and I just had so much fun doing that. And I haven't completely forgotten about it. It's there, and I've been wondering what I should do. But I eventually would like to
You should do
continue.
it, because I know plenty of actors that can do the different parts that will be happy to be on a podcast and help you market it.
Yes.
Yeah, so
That's
eventually,
what we do.
Yeah, I'll eventually probably go back to that podcast. Right now, it's kind of just sitting. I get downloads from all over the world occasionally, not as much as when I was consistently uploading. But, I was doing everything. I was doing all the recording, and, I would add music and sound effects in the background. I'll tell you, I'm just crazy. I just do everything. I just love learning different things, right? So once I started on the novel again, that kind of took precedence, because I'm like, I want to just finish book 2 and then start book 3. So I kind of let that sit for a while. So right now my focus is getting the novel published.
Did you take writing classes, or how did you just start writing and know that you could write a book and novels?
I wish I could say it was something really epic and and noble.
Well, because I don't like to write. Like, I don't write well. I've never liked it. So
yeah, I kind of fell into it. I was looking for another. I always like doing side hustles, learning to do different things. Your girl is always looking for something new to do. So on YouTube, I found some, some guys on YouTube that said, you should write books and post it on Amazon and you'll make a lot of money. Well, that didn't happen, but,
Yet.
yeah, that didn't happen.
You gotta
yet.
visualize it. You gotta see it.
Right.
Yes.
But what happened is I kind of fell back in love with writing. I had forgotten when I was in high school, English language was my most favorite subject. I just loved writing. And although I did not study it after leaving high school, it was there. It was just inactive. So basically, I woke up one day and said, I'm going to write a book. And so I did. My first novel was a novella. And, I just started writing. And then once I started writing, I started taking classes at the local college, adult enrichment classes. So I would take as much classes as I could. I read and read and read a lot of books, listened to a lot of lectures. I viewed probably hundreds of hours of writing on YouTube. And so, I'm basically self-taught. With all the resources that is available online right now, anyone can pretty much be a writer. You can research the topic, and as long as you're committed to sit down and put words on paper, anybody can be a writer.
Yeah.
It's a learned skill.
Now, are you, what is it called with the writing? Are you what is it called? One of your characters, but hidden? Are you one of your characters?
Are you one of your characters? Is it about you?
What is it called? A pseudo? Like, are you? And what is it called? One of your? Are you? Or you won't tell?
Not really. I have to tell you though. All of my characters have got a little bit of everybody. A little bit of personality from me, a little bit of personality from people I know, relatives, friends, acquaintances.
Renee.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to get all these books and be reading it. I mean, like, I'm in trilogy. Yeah. What?
Nothing is more inspirational than listening to real life. And I have a little thing I do on TikTok where people are doing skits and they're talking to one another. And I pretend to be basically a fly on the wall, and I'm just listening to what this person is saying, and I'm reacting to what that person is saying. And that is a direct that idea came directly from listening to life when I became a writer. There's certain things that people say that is a direct quote in my books. And we won't say anything. We won't say anything. But sometimes certain habits people have, because to make characters sound real, you give them they have certain habits. They're not just a perfect person. They have flaws, right. They have habits, they have things that they do well, things that they suck at. And, they have to, that all encompasses a personality.
Have you ever thought about writing films or TV shows?
No, script writing has never really appealed to me yet. So I think that's a technique, that's an art to itself. But yeah, no, I've never thought of that. And probably because when you're script writing, there's no description or anything. There's just dialogue. Yeah, there's just action and dialogue and setting up the scene, whatever. But I like writing a lot of description, smells, tastes, sights.
She came out the room in a sexy negligee while he waited for her.
That's right.
She grabbed the pole, enticing him.
I have to warn you, my book is a little spicy at certain parts. I do open door love scenes, is what they call
50
it.
Shades of Grey.
That's what I thought about.
Well, that's going into kink. So I'm not there yet either. So.
In between.
I had no idea. TikTok has showed me how many different levels of spice there is. When something is five chili peppers, there's a lot of spice, and there's kink, and there's all that kind of stuff. So I'm probably about a level 2.
Okay. If I'd like to jump back over to massage a little bit before we head off. So what kind of massage should we be getting? Because I know, like, when I go, or is it that I have to stay consistent with the same person? Because it always feels like I'm just getting oil rubbed on me, and then it's like, okay, a little touching, and then that's it. It's like, no, you asked me where my problems are, my low back, my shoulders. Like, if I tell you, like, that's where my problem is, and then you just do a full body massage, like usual, I never feel like I get a good, solid massage.
So it depends on, it's always a good idea to try different massage therapists until you find one that you're happy with, and that you're comfortable with, that gives you the pressure that you want and all of that kind of stuff. And also one that listens. That's the problem you're having. This massage therapist is probably not listening. I would advise, if you need specific areas and specific things worked out, that you not go to like the massage clubs and stuff, because the massage clubs, not always, but most of their employees are new people. There's new graduates. And they can give a decent full body massage, but they're probably not experienced yet to work on specific problems. And like I said, it's not all of them, just for the most part.
It's training ground.
Yeah, so it's sort of a training ground to hone in your skills. So try a couple different massage therapists, and find one that listens to you. Find one, it could be the opposite as well. You tell them you want that area, and that's all they work on that area, and you wound up sore or bruised the following day. So you don't want that either.
No.
So yes. So try out a couple different people until you find somebody that you like. Now, with that said, there's a whole lot of there's over 300 different modalities of massages.
Wow.
So, but the ones we know about mostly here in the Western style massage, medical massage, you have Swedish massage, and you have like deep tissue massage. So there's a whole list of others that are typical for here. But that makes a big difference. Do you want a Swedish massage? Is a relaxation massage. It sounds like what you're getting.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So, try private practitioners.
Well, what's your favorite massage since there's so many? You know them all?
Yeah. Yeah. Me, I like deep tissue massage done on me. And that's also my specialty. I give deep tissue massage. But even so, most people don't want deep tissue massage over their entire body. Like you, that you have your shoulder, that's where your main problem is. You might want it deep there and medium elsewhere. That's why it's important to try different people and talk. When I get my clients come in to see me, I sit with them. Sometimes I talk with them, especially if it's the first session, I talk with them sometimes 30 minutes to find out what exactly they need out of this massage. And I also do it I handle it in a holistic way as well. How much water are you getting? Are you eating well? Are you sleeping well? And now I've recently added, what are you doing on a daily basis for stress management? Because that's the world we live in right now. The stress level is at an all-time high right now with the world changing as quickly as it is because of COVID. Yeah.
Just the world.
Yeah. People don't feel comfortable going out among crowds anymore. And people have, unfortunately, friends and relatives have passed from this terrible virus. And, me for one, I never used to shop. I hardly ever used to shop on Amazon. I want to go to the store. I want to see it. I want to feel it. I want to touch it. I want to try it on. Nobody shops more on Amazon more than me now. So, so stress management is very important. Now, massage directly diminishes your stress hormones. So that is getting a massage, even a relaxation massage, which I like to call a fluff massage. This probably sound like what you're getting. That is, part of managing stress. It always has been, but I think it's even so much more important that we get massages now. Once a month is, at least once a month.
Is this supposed to hurt? Because every time I get a massage, it hurts.
It's not supposed to hurt.
No, it's supposed to feel good.
It hurts, especially when it is like deep in my back. I'm like, it hurts.
So the massage therapist is supposed to be able to read your body sign when you're cringing and tensing up to know that they're adding too much pressure.
They tap me and say, relax. They tap me up here.
No.
Relax, right.
You got to try a few different therapists as well.
Relax. Deep breathe. Ooh,
yeah.
Feel it. Okay. And then, I'm like,
what?
It's like they tap me on my shoulder. Relax. Renee.
Well, maybe you're
Relax.
tight, Renee. Maybe you've got a lot of muscle soreness and tense. Yeah. So they need to start a little lighter and then work up to deeper.
I thought I was going to get that to de-stress.
Yeah.
Well, and then if your body is all knotted up, sometimes you can't get it in one shot. If you need to lose 10 pounds, you won't get it going to the gym one time, right?
True.
So the therapist should be aware of that. If somebody hasn't been to me in, a long time, if they haven't had a massage, if they have like really chronic problems, a massage is a massage. It's not a miracle. So, so I tell them sometimes, okay, let's come back to me every week for 4 weeks. Let's get rid of some of this tension you have in your body instead of trying to dig it out in one go. So it depends on who you're going to, which is why I say maybe try private practitioners because they have a little more experience with those kind of things than even the spa, even some of the lovely spas and everything. Sometimes they have people who don't have as much experience. But you can certainly, it's within your rights. You can certainly tell that therapist that's too much pressure.
Or maybe I'll just come to, because I always love an excuse to come to Florida. Maybe I'll just come to you.
Just come to me.
Yeah, I can do that.
I have clients from all ages. I have people built like a tree, and I have little old ladies in their 80s. So you gotta Most of my clients are retired, by the way. So, which is
well,
great
it
for
is
me.
Florida.
It is Florida.
You know, and they have that discretionary income. So, you know, they come, they take care of their bodies, they eat well, and you know, we sit and we chat. I allow 30 to 45 minutes between clients because in today's society, people are not heard. They go to the I hear this a lot, way too much. They go to their doctor's office, they go to their appointments, and the doctor is in and out and rushing them out of there in 5 minutes. You know, and they're on to the next patient to see how many people they can see when they come. You know, and that's how I built my practice. You know, I listen to people. Now, it's a fine line because we can't give advice. It's, you know, that's out of our scope. That's, you know, we can't give advice, but people will come and they'll tell you. And it's part of their shedding some of that stress. They will tell you. It's like, you know, when you go to the bartender or you go to the salon, you know, you end up telling them all your business. They're always talking. It's the same thing for massage. They tell you all their business. And sometimes people just want to be heard.
They just want to talk.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's what a therapist is for.
Why go to a therapist if you can go to your massage therapist?
That's
My
an
job is just to
additional
listen.
$50.
Not to give any advice. Not to give any advice. But
Just
I do
to
listen.
relax.
Yes.
Just to relax.
It helps people to relax, being able to talk.
Oh, yeah. Like, I've had that problem my whole life. I never thought my family listened to me at all. So I'm constantly waiting for people, you know, talking. And I'm like, they don't care. Why am I going to waste my time talking right now?
And that's the reason why I say maybe try a private practitioner, because they have more control over how they run their practice and how they treat you as a client.
So, Karen, if I can ask, so I know, because I remember you had a grand opening. You had a big grand opening for your massage. It was huge. And I think because of COVID, you had to downgrade.
Oh, yes.
Okay. So, and I think I read that actually you felt that was better, the downgrade, where you have more personalized attention.
Yeah, absolutely. So it was my dream to own a big spa, and I started building that. You know, I had the grand opening. I had lots of clients. I started hiring other massage therapists, and we were just working, and you know, it was great for a while, until I realized I didn't really enjoy managing other people, because I tell you,
that's hard.
Yeah.
that is hard. And you know, for a person like myself who rather prefer freedom, you know, that, you know. So what I did
being the owner and manager, you didn't feel like everyone was like kissing your
no. No.
Really?
I think massage therapists are a fickle bunch. You know, we kind of just, well, some of us are kind of space cadets, to tell you the truth. I don't know what's going on. And yeah, it was a difficult bunch to manage.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I actually started downsizing a while back, because what I did was you know, that whole hiring process and going through orientation with new therapists and, you know, all of that kind of stuff. I decided to, you know what, I would take my nice big spa and just rent out the rooms, all the treatment rooms. So that's what I started doing. So I rented out the rooms to massage therapists to bring their own clients and work with their own clients and freelance. So
That was a good business model.
yes,
Yeah,
and
that's
that was going great. That was going great. I had all my rooms, you know, I had my own treatment room. I was seeing my own clients. They came and brought their own clients, and you know, I collected the rent every month.
Oh, that's great.
But for COVID is when everything went south, because, you know, we couldn't put our hands on people, you know. And so once we thought, you know, it was going to settle down pretty quickly, and it didn't. It still hasn't. Once I started practicing again, it was obvious that a lot of people, you know, didn't want to come back to get massages. They were still quarantining, still afraid to come back out. And so my business kind of suffered, and I started losing my tenants, you know, the other massage therapists, because they didn't have business. And eventually I had to give up the big spa because the overhead was just crazy. But I had the best, landlord in the world. And, we struck up a deal and she let me out of my lease. And, and it broke my heart to have to give up my big spa and, the facility. Everything was so great. I was in that space for 7 years. And then I downsized. And one of my friends who had my office was in an office complex. But I have a friend who owned another unit within that same complex. And she was like, do you want to buy my place? I got to sell this place. I can't keep it. She's in a different business. And I was like, no, I can't buy anything right now. I'm looking to close down my place. As a matter of fact, I was looking for a room to rent. And she was like, well, you want to rent from me? I was like, yeah, I want to rent from you. So we got together and it solved both of our problems. So we got creative. And whilst it broke my heart to give up the big spa, once I moved into her little one room that she rented me and everything got downsized, and, I was like, gosh, I should have done this a long time ago. Wow. It gave me so much more freedom. And yes, the stress of the mountainous overhead was gone. I can see people when I want to. If I don't feel like working on one day, I don't have to. And it gave me a lot more time to work on my writing. So everything kind of balanced itself off.
Things happen for a reason.
Yeah, I felt it leave me when you said that. Yeah. I was like, I felt the relief just you telling that.
Yeah, absolutely. It was phenomenal. And, it reminded me of, and I think this is something we do as human beings. We kind of try to hold on to things.
Yeah.
It reminded me of when I was giving up my apartment in Manhattan. I was moving to Florida. And so I found a wonderful young couple to rent it. And then when the time came to leave, I was like, I don't want to give up my apartment. So it was a great apartment right on the Upper East Side in Manhattan, really nice area, walk to Central Park, everything. It's like, I really don't want to give it up. But, once I gave it up, I was like, oh man, how wonderful it is to not have that, that whole, because it was very expensive. It was basically a hole in the wall. It was tiny. It was a tiny apartment, but it was so expensive because it's Manhattan.
Yeah, Manhattan.
But once I gave it up and I moved to Florida, I was like, oh my God, look at how much space I've got here. Oh, it was wonderful. I go to the beach every day and do my 2-mile walk every morning on the beach. It was just so wonderful. And it just made me question myself, why do we hold on to things?
Yeah. And it's okay.
We do that.
So it's okay to let go because you don't know what is awaiting for you when you let go, because God has a way of taking you out of this situation and putting you in another situation. So you have to step out on faith.
It's fear of the unknown. And it's a human thing, and it's okay. It's normal to be afraid and of the unknown, but that shouldn't stop us either.
Yeah, well, I want to thank you for being our leading lady this week and joining us and sharing all of your knowledge and experience and wisdom.
Oh, thank you so much. I had a lot of fun. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Would you like to drop any of your links, your website, your novel again, where people can find you if they want to collab?
You can find me on TikTok at Karen Thomas _author. My website is KarenThomasAuthor.com. And this is my book. It's the first of a trilogy, romance, The Billionaire's Siren by Kay Thomas. And it's also available on audible.com.
Awesome. Well, thank you all for tuning in to this week's episode with our leading lady, Karen Thomas. And thank you for sharing your experiences with us today. For more of our content, you can follow us on our social media at heep_ent. That's HEEP_ENT. And if you have feedback, guest suggestions, collab pitches, or anything you want to tell us, you can reach our team at heepent@gmail.com. And until next time, continue leading, ladies.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you. Bye.
You're welcome.